What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing. I hope today is the day we earn that subscription. Today we're getting into Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 7. Uh, Basically, the setup or part 1 of the season finale, so to speak, for this season. And a lot happens in this particular episode. Okay, to set up the for the finale here, and I'll get into my thoughts about the episode after we go through this. And Karen is on. All right, so basically, in this particular episode, Karen is set up to stand trial. We start off with the episode with Karen getting processed. Legitimately, this isn't a wet works kingpin putting her in jail somewhere like he was the heroes earlier on in the season, where it was really hard to find some of these people. Here, it's she's getting put in a jail until her trial because she's being prosecuted under the vigilante law that Kingpin had enacted and placed. Okay, um, so Matt and his partner Christine Duffy are trying to make a case for Karen here because the court proceeding is televised. Okay, even though there's no jury, so to speak, there's an instance in which Christine Duffy is questioning one of these cops, and she mentions something about something she gets one of the judges to intercede because it's a three-judge panel, and the head one, the woman judge said, there's no jury here to cater to, right? And she points to the cameras and she's like, "You sure about that? You sure about that?" So they're basically, it's like their version of putting the system on trial as opposed to the system putting Karen on trial. While Karen is in court, in jail though, before her court proceeding, her and Matt have a little meeting that is set up by one of the cops that's an ally to Daredevil, and we've seen him in season 1, and we see Matt and Karen hug and kiss. We see that they are, in fact, a couple that, even though there's these hard times coming, they're still re-establishing each other to each other, you know what I mean? And because before there's a little tension of Matt keeping Bullseye around and Karen not wanting him around. But with her in jail and everything, it's a realization that, again, we're in the end game now, so to speak, to quote another MCU hero here. They're getting closer to a final resolution happening, whether it works out for them or not. You know what I mean? So at least Matt and Karen have that little moment together. Eventually, Matt does release Bullseye. Okay, he goes and releases Bullseye before the trial, and he says to him, you got, listen, this is just the list of innocent people that he's taken out. Foggy, uh, Father Lanton, Ray Nadim. All right, these are 3 people since season 1 that he's taken out that were innocent to anything that was in the grander scheme of Daredevil or Kingpin or anything like that. So, and Foggy is supposed to be the one that hits us the most. Matt and Foggy started like their law firm together in hopes to help protect the innocent, to protect the poor. I mean, they were saving money in a coffee can trying to take a vacation somewhere, margaritas and chiquitas. And that was taken away by Bullseye. And the whole premise of Matt, really, with this season is showing grace, showing that there's a better way. Kind of an eye for an eye leaves the world blind type of thing. A funny lesson considering it's concerning Matt, who's a blind lawyer from Hell's Kitchen. Go figure, right? So it's really trying to live with what happened, but try to live in peace with it as opposed to letting it eat you up inside. And we see some of the main differences between Matt and Wilson over that style of life, over their approach to how they deal and process with trauma. And it's definitely not the same, okay? So Matt feels like everyone needs to be redeemed, can be redeemed, not should be redeemed. He feels like everyone can be redeemed. And only time will tell when it comes to Bullseye, because that does pay off in this episode. Because while in the process of everything, Wilson sends an assassin, okay, to the governor's mansion, and Bullseye stops the assassin from killing the governor. So Bullseye's already paying dividends with the absolute trust that Daredevil has given him, that Matt has given him. But basically, he almost lost Karen because of this. And Karen, in a lot of ways, realizes that Matt's correct in a lot of things with some of the ways to look at life. But you can't really blame her either. If I lost a close personal friend of mine through an act of violence, I don't know if I'd want to hear that person is able to be redeemed. And it's natural for me to feel that way because of my connection to the victim, so to speak. So it's going to take a real stronger person than a lot to forgive someone who's taken so much life, at the scale that Bullseye has taken life and who he has taken. So I like that part about the storytelling here. All right. So yes, Governor gets saved. Daniel Blake, man. Daniel Blake is, man, the Kingpin's hitman, right-hand man, right? And he wanted Buck. I love the name Buck Cashman. I don't know why that didn't stick with me earlier in the season. Buck Cashman, a.k.a. Gandolfini Jr., faces Buck. Buck faces Buck. Buck faces the end. How about that? He was supposed to bring in BB to Daniel Blake here to take her out, and he lets her go. Okay, Buck is mad at her for being the fake kingpin on the internet, but at the same time he realizes that he can't let her be taken out. He acknowledges that they both lied to each other and there needs to be a solution, a way out of this, because if he didn't feel anything for her, he would have just handed her over, no issues, you know what I mean? But when they got there, he had a heart and let her go and faced Daniel on his own. And he thought that by the relationship that they had the last few episodes, eating hot dogs, burying the body, things like this, that maybe Buck proved to himself, excuse me, that he's really Daniel's friend. But unfortunately, Daniel doesn't have, at this point, the capacity to have friends, okay? Now, you could tell very much that visually it affected him doing this. This seemed to maybe have been one of the harder ones to take out for our hitman here. But he still takes out Buck. And I hope that BB was worth it because, to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of her. She's why Buck is getting taken out in the first place. That's my opinion about it. Feel free to discuss down below. And so finally, the last thing we're going to talk about is Matt reappearing in public for the first time to the public as a lawyer this season, right? To help Karen on her trial here. And everyone is in shock. Oh my God, Matt Murdock is back. And in a lot of ways, this is what Wilson is hoping for Matt or Daredevil showing their face around Karen's trial. The day comes to a rush, so to speak, and as Matt and the lawyer, his partner, are leaving, they get ambushed by Wilson's police force there. Matt winds up getting taking a shot to the leg. His partner was able to escape with the cops that are helping them out. And Daredevil Matt made his way to his church. And there he's praying to God. He's praying to God. And we're getting what's happening with Buck and getting taken out and these other things. And Matt laying there, kind of sitting there. And who would you know shows up to help good old Matty boy but Jessica Jones? And that's where this that's where this episode ends. This singular issue for a television show. I know, I'm lame sometimes. But I really want to thank you for stopping by and let me babble about Daredevil. Please let me know what you think about the show. You agree with what I'm saying, disagree with what I'm saying, or how I'm looking at this particular episode. I think this episode is a good episode, to the sense of that it's building everything up, and I think it's a bit better than season 1. But to be honest with you, the Kingpin Daredevil story is really been told a lot on screen now. And I'd like to kind of see what Matt does against other villains that are not the Hand or Wilson Fisk, because for about a combination of 5 seasons of Daredevil, it's only been Wilson Fisk or the Hand. If you go back to the original Netflix series and this series, I'm not saying I don't enjoy Vincent D'Onofrio's version of the Kingpin. I think he does that part. I can't picture anyone else in the part right at the moment. You know what I mean? That's how well he's done it. But I'd really like to see, if there's going to be a season 3, I'd like to really see a change of a villain, so to speak, an overarching nemesis that's not the Hand or Wilson Fisk. But I have a sneaky suspicion that Matt's ex-girlfriend, the one that's losing her mind, might be getting set up for a season 3. Who knows? Who knows? That's what I got for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts about what we're talking about here down below. And until next time, peace.